Thank you for joining us for Turn the Page with Paige, brought to you by Southwestern Illinois College. I'm your host, Paige Holsey. When a family experiences the loss of a child, parents are forever changed by that grief, but so too are siblings. And in a new book by St. Charles County mom Katy Bone, children are allowed that space to grieve. In the children's book, Buzzy the Bee, big sister Rain misses her little brother, but Rain, she's wise. She understands that memories and stories can also be a source of healing and joy. The story teaches us all that love isn't only about how long we had with someone, but instead how much they impacted our lives. And today we are honored to be joined by author Katy Bone as well as illustrator Madeline Harwell here in studio. So I have known Katy, I have to tell you this, for a long, long time, and I hope you know how proud I am as a friend of how you turned your family's deep tragedy into really something that is impacting so many other families. This has become a movement that is supporting others, and it all started with this little guy right here, okay? His name is Barrett, and I want you to tell the world all about Barrett.
Yes, so Barrett was born June 14th, 2019, and he had a rare lung disease, alveolar capillary dysplasia. And so Barrett was only with us for 28 days, and he passed away on July 12th, 2019. And Barrett is just, the most beautiful little boy. And I just want the world to know Barrett. So I feel like if you know me, you know Barrett. So I don't know anyone who has ever said, like, I see your living children, but I didn't know you had another one. They will know. So so Barrett's 28 days, I feel like he fulfilled a legacy that most adults in their lifetime can't say that they've done. So
you're absolutely right. That is so true. When you know Katy, you know Barrett. And I think you are honoring him every day in the way that you speak his name and you tell his story. But Katy, you experienced as a mom so much heartbreak. Why did you choose, though, for this book to be focused on a sibling's perspective?
Yeah, so we noticed our daughter at the time, she is Barrett's big sister, and she was 16 months old whenever he passed away. She, just being that firstborn girl, she saw his room being, his full nursery. She saw my growing belly. Every day that he was in the hospital, she came up to see us, and we noticed very quickly, like, she knew the difference. Whenever we got home, after he passed away, he was gone. She would look around, she, wondered where he was. And so everyone would pour into mine and my husband's life, helping our grief, but we just noticed this little girl who didn't have the support that we had, and we knew that that had to be changed. And we knew that other kids, we didn't want them to feel kind of that gap like Poppy felt. So
good for you for noticing that and then speaking to it, and like you said, pouring into that. Maddie, I want to bring you into the conversation because these pictures are so heartfelt, they're so vibrant. The bee is the focus. Where did the concept for a bee come in?
Yeah, so Barrett's initials are BZB, Barrett Zachary Bone. And so early on, my friend said, it sounds like Busy Bee. So we were like, yes. So I was so thankful that my friend Kelly mentioned that, and that has stuck, since before he passed away. Actually, it was probably before he was born, that has stuck. So bees have always been very impactful.
How did it feel for you when Katy tapped you and said, I have this story that's from the heart, and you're the only person I can imagine?
Oh, what an honor. It was such a special project, and just knowing the family, like I've known the Bone family for years and years, and I followed Barrett's story. So being able to hopefully capture part of his legacy in a way that I love art was just such a special project. And I was hoping to create something that would bring peace and help siblings that have gone through this loss be able to picture it and feel that, and just work through those emotions.
You did a fabulous job, and we have to mention, because this just feels serendipitous, that you share the birthday of June 14th.
I do.
With Barrett. Doesn't that make you say, like, okay, this was meant to be?
He's my birthday buddy. I put a little bee on my birthday cake, and he's always there.
I love that. And we have to point out, too, these fantastic and beautiful shirts designed by the illustration in your book.
Yes.
Yeah. One piece that I really love about this story is when big sister Rain is talking to her youngest siblings about Buzzy, and she keeps talking about just the different characteristics that he had and mentioning his name. And that's just one example of a way that you listed in the back of the book along this long list of resources of a way to support siblings. Why was it so important for you to make room for that?
Yes, I know personally, I had a hard time knowing how to support Poppy, like what do I do? And then children's grief changes. Her grief has changed, I mean, leaps and bounds, just different as she grows, as she matures. Same with her little brothers now here on Earth, Archer and Warner. And so I wanted just like some tangible things that people can do and to support these kiddos, especially as it changes. You know, it's not super black and white on exactly what you can do, but I was like, here's some ideas, here's some things you can do, reference back to it, keep this book, and just find resources that will help these kids because they need it.
What I was really struck by in this book is, you know, you talk about a parent's grief and an older sibling's grief, and it's obvious somewhat that those people are going to feel this loss, but then to think about the lives that come after, right? So they didn't have the opportunity to know someone like Barrett, but they're still going to be impacted by his life and by his loss through their siblings, through their parents, and the stories that you retell. And so I appreciate that that was represented in this story, that they can feel that connection too.
Yes, absolutely. I know they ask about Barrett, and it's almost that they speak as if they know him.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a way they do know him just because, I mean, he's a part of everything that we do.
Have they seen the book?
Yes.
Yes? What did they think about it?
So I was actually just telling Maddie, I read it to them last night.
Wow.
Yes.
For the first time?
Yes.
This is
Yes.
fresh.
Yes. So they have like seen it. They actually helped me create the names. I didn't want to use their exact names in the books, but it's them in the book. And so we read it, and it was very emotional. They were very proud of me, which was awesome feeling. And Poppy had quite a few tears because I think it just brought back a lot for her to read that. So
wow.
it was
Thank
beautiful.
you for sharing that.
Yeah.
This book, Katy, just the latest example that your nonprofit, latest project for your nonprofit, Blessings for Barrett. Tell me more about your other initiatives.
Yeah, so we serve children who have lost a sibling, and so it's lost a sibling at any age. So we go, miscarriage through, again, any age. And so we send grief boxes throughout the country. I think we're in about 38 states right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So we do that. We also provide support to hospitals to provide care in the hour of loss. We actually did have a nurse after Barrett had passed away, and they grabbed her and provided her with like a little bracelet. So we wanted to have some tangible items there for the hospital to give these kiddos to. And then we do quarterly grief projects. We've been provided so much support, but it's when that last card is sent, that last meal is given, it's really hard because you feel like their memories going away, and we will always remember them. So we do quarterly grief projects, and so we send out a message to all of our families, and then we do different fun projects like grief monsters, and we've done other cute little things for the kiddos.
Yeah,
so
it's really important work, and it's addressing such a heart-wrenching need in the community. So thank you for the work that you are doing. Before you go, I want to ask you to share a recommendation for another children's book that your family found helpful during this really tough journey.
Yeah, so we've had several, but one that I feel like maybe not as many people know about is Sashi the Angel. It's a beautiful book about a little girl named Sashi that unfortunately is also up above with Barrett, and her family wrote the most beautiful book. It has the illustrations are just beautiful. It's a lot of nature, and it's all about finding peace and just seeing everything that's beautiful, knowing that it comes from those kiddos that are no longer here. So it's a beautiful book.
Great recommendation. Katy, congratulations on your book. Maddie, beautiful work that you guys did together.
Thank you.
Thank you again for all that you're doing in honor of Barrett.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here for today's episode of Turn the Page with Paige. We hope to see you again soon.